Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a young couple, Emma and Ethan. They had been married for 3 years, and to everyone who knew them, they seemed like the perfect couple. They lived in a cozy house on the edge of town. Ethan worked as a teacher at the local school, and Emma was a nurse at the town's hospital. They were happy, or at least they seemed to be. Emma and Ethan met when they were both in college. They quickly fell in love. Their bond grew stronger each day, and after graduation, they got married. It felt like everything was perfect. They dreamed of growing old together, building a family, and sharing their lives. But sometimes, even in the happiest marriages, things begin to change. It all started one year when Ethan hired a new teacher at the school where he worked. Her name was Lily. She was young, beautiful, and intelligent. She had a way of speaking that made everyone listen closely. Ethan admired her from the moment she started working at the school. He was impressed by her ideas, her passion for teaching, and her energy. At first, it seemed innocent, a teacher admiring another teacher's hard work. But as the weeks passed, Ethan found himself thinking about Lily more and more. It wasn't just about her teaching skills anymore. Ethan found himself looking for reasons to spend time with her, even if it was just to discuss a lesson plan or talk about school projects. Emma noticed the change in Ethan. At first, she thought it was just her imagination. But when Ethan started coming home later than usual and became distant and distracted, she began to worry. She tried to ask him about it, but Ethan would always brush her off with a smile, saying, "I'm just busy at work. Emma, don't worry about it." But Emma did worry. She loved Ethan deeply, and she could sense something was wrong. She noticed how Ethan's eyes seemed to brighten whenever he mentioned Lily's name, how he started talking about her with more excitement. Emma didn't want to believe it, but a feeling deep inside her told her that something was happening between Ethan and Lily. Something she couldn't explain, but something she could feel in her heart. One evening after dinner, Emma finally decided to confront Ethan. She waited until they were sitting on the couch together, and she looked at him with eyes full of love and fear. "Ethan," she said softly, her voice trembling, "is there something going on between you and Lily?" Ethan froze, his face turning pale. He hadn't expected her to ask. He had been trying so hard to hide his feelings from her, but now that Emma had brought it up, he couldn't lie anymore. He stared at the floor, unable to meet her eyes. He knew he had hurt her. He had never meant for it to happen, but he couldn't deny the truth. I don't know, Emma," Ethan said quietly. "I never meant for this to happen, but I've developed feelings for Lily. I didn't want to hurt you. You're the most important person in my life, but I just couldn't help it." Emma's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. She had suspected it, but hearing Ethan say it out loud was like a knife to her chest. She tried to hold back the tears, but they came anyway. "How could you do this to me, Ethan?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "I've always loved you, and I thought you loved me too. But now I don't know what to believe." Ethan reached for her hand, his eyes filled with regret. "I do love you, Emma. I never wanted to hurt you. I just I got confused. I made a mistake. I've been selfish. Please forgive me." But Emma couldn't forgive him. She didn't know if she ever could. She felt like the person she had loved for so long had become a stranger. She stood up from the couch, her heart aching with pain. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore, Ethan," she said quietly. "I need time to think. I don't even know if I want to stay in this marriage. I feel like everything we've built together has been a lie." Ethan felt the weight of her words crush him. He knew he had lost her trust, and he didn't know if he could ever get it back. "Emma, please don't say that," he pleaded, his voice desperate. "I don't want to lose you. I made a terrible mistake. I know I hurt you, but I love you, Emma. Please believe me." Emma looked at him, her eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to believe anymore, Ethan," she said softly. I need to be alone." That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. She loved Ethan more than anything, but she felt betrayed. She didn't know if she could ever forget what he had done, if she could ever trust him again. Her heart was torn between the love she still felt for him and the hurt that had taken root in her soul. The next few days were a blur. Ethan tried everything to make things right, sending Emma flowers, writing her heartfelt letters, and apologizing over and over again. But Emma's heart had already been broken. She couldn't pretend that everything was fine when it wasn't. She tried to focus on her work at the hospital, but even there, her mind kept drifting back to Ethan and Lily. Weeks passed, and Emma made the difficult decision to leave. She couldn't stay in a marriage where trust had been shattered, no matter how much she still loved Ethan. She packed her bags and moved into a small apartment in the city, away from the house they had shared. Ethan was devastated, but he knew it was what Emma needed. He had hurt her too much, and now he had to live with the consequences of his actions. Months later, Ethan and Lily grew closer. They began dating and eventually moved in together. But even with Lily, Ethan couldn't shake the emptiness he felt. He loved her, but something was missing. He had made the choice to be with Lily, but deep down, he knew that Emma would always be the one he truly loved. Emma, on the other hand, began to heal slowly. She focused on her career, made new friends, and found joy in the simple things in life again. But every so often, when she was alone, she would think of Ethan and wonder if he ever regretted his choices. And Ethan did regret it every day. He had lost the woman he loved, all for a fleeting feeling that wasn't worth the pain it caused. But some mistakes can never be undone, and some love stories are never meant to have a happy ending.